Redemption Center staff have been trained. The QFS is fully integrated. Things are defiantly happening behind the scenes. We are going to be celebrating this week. Alak points out the decline in the price of oil has nothing to do with the rise in the exchange rate because Iraq has reserves for foreign currencies which enables it to defend the exchange rate. That's what central banks do, my friends. They defend the exchange rate. That does not matter whether it's at 1,310, which they've done, or if it's going to be at whatever the real effective exchange rate is going to be in the future. They've worked this out. This isn't something brand new. They know what they're doing. The Drop the Three Zeros project is still going to be applied. They're going to the streets with Sadr on the 25th. We will hit the streets in millions. We do this weekly until we are paid, starting on the 25th. Sadr has organized this and we will back him for our constitutional rights. Frank, Sadr is a good leader. He will not do anything violent. Make sure you don't protest because you will retard the whole monetary process for you. Firefly, we know there's got to be a new rate coming and we're going to help speed this up. Most already tell us Iraq is filthy rich and they are. Right now the Kuwaiti dinar is one of the highest valued currencies in the world. If you proportionately look at Iraq and compare its ability to generate wealth, it can far outproduce Kuwait. Why then is the KWD at $3+, and the IQD at about $0.006? What have we gotten this week? We have movement in the HCL, salaries are suddenly being agreed on, which they could not agree on without knowing the new rates. We have them telling us the money laundering issue with Iran are taken care of, and the comment about 10 days ago from Sudani that they plan on lifting the value of the dinar during his term, which is in the next couple of months. So buckle up and try not to lose faith. The judiciary and the State Council confirmed that the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq is subject to the legal retirement age documents. Quote, the two councils confirmed in documents that the legal age for retirement is 60 years, and upon reaching it, the duties of the official assigned to it end. Sudani comes out and he mentions that we are in the completion phase of the HCL. We know the HCL needs a rate. Sudani said the payments would be through the electronic cards, not cash. We think that's because cash would give us 1,310, but through the cards we think it's going to be with a new rate. Frank, I do not know this for a fact, but I agree with you totally that your cards, they are based on a new exchange rate. It makes no sense for them to be based on a restricted program rate. Government parliamentary meeting today discusses boosting non-oil revenues and developing the economy. Iraq is going to be needing non-oil revenues. We all know that, the last 18 months, almost 2 years, has been to get Iraq to a private sector and to get them to boost their non-oil revenues. I have always stated, if the dinar is ever going to go up in value, it will be based on Iraq's economic success. This is clearly the path Iraq is taking. Nothing is random. Only with the success and growth can we see an increase in value. The good news is we are seeing progress. About 20 days have passed since the start of the decline in oil prices, which has sparked fears about the size of the loss that Iraq, which is heavily dependent on oil, will incur, and the possibility of its impact on salaries. While assurances were issued that salaries would not be affected by this level of the current decline in oil prices, as salaries could be provided even if the price of oil reached $60 per barrel, Iraq actually suffered a huge loss during September for 2 reasons compared to previous months. And I did also a news review of short and long-term average prices for the past period and calculations to see how much you lost. Iraq over the past few days. It turned out that the prices of Iraqi oil during the 5 months until the end of the 7th were ranging at an average of between $88 and $79 per barrel as a minimum, which means that on average the price of a barrel of Iraqi oil can be considered to be $84 per barrel as a minimum, but in August the average price of a barrel became $75 per barrel. Since the beginning of September until now, the average price of a barrel of Iraqi oil can be calculated at $70, which means that it has lost an average of $14 per barrel compared to the average price during the past months. Accordingly, while issuing Iraq 3.3 million barrels in September according to the OPEC agreement, which means that Iraq lost about $925 million in the last 20 days alone. At the same time, Iraq issued more from 3.4 million barrels in August and July, but in September its exports decreased to 3.3 million barrels, which is another matter that caused a loss for Iraq, in response to compensating for the surplus production. Iraq during the past months according to the OPEC agreement.